Hello everyone, bit of a different video today because I've been doing lots of bitty jobs around the van. So rather than show you one job start to finish, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an update on where we are in the van as a whole and what's coming next.
Welcome to Chaos in a Crafter.
So starting off at the front, one of the things we've done is we've taken a little trip to Van Concept down in Hampshire, where we bought this cab storage shelf. I've now wrapped it in suede, so this is kind of the vibe we're going for, with the brass bolts and this kind of pale, almost looks slightly pink, but it's supposed to be a light beige colour. I've also, as you can see, finished doing the ceiling. Don't look too closely because it's not quite the finish I would have liked. I'm much better at doing stuff where the aesthetics don't need to match the function. Much better with the function side of it, but we have got the roof in now, so we've gone for lightweight tray panel slatted ceiling. It's supposed to be used as acoustic wall, but we're using on the ceiling, and it's nice and lightweight. But because of that, they're quite thin panels, and if you look very closely, there is just an ever so slight undulation to it. But that's a problem of using this material, so I may eventually get around to changing that. But you can see we've put our fans in, and our air conditioner up there now has its surround in. Likewise, I've got the lights in. We still haven't got our 12 volt system set up, or 24 volt, because those lights also run on 24 volt. But they have been tested with my little plug-in cigarette lighter tester. Dinner, we have lights. We've obviously got this step in, so this is the next thing, is to raise the height up here. I put the step in. We still need to work on turning this to storage. I want to hinge this so we can store stuff underneath it. Likewise, you can see over there, that's the leg for our table I was just measuring up. I've gone for a CJL leisure table. I'll show you that in more detail. CJL are very expensive, but the stuff they sell is brilliant. So if you can suck up the cost, I would recommend it. We've got our Max Air dome fan now, which is all surrounded, and our rear fan is all in. Likewise, we've got LED light strips running the full length of the van. Slight mistake I made was I didn't decide where to put these until the last minute when I was putting the ceiling up, and I didn't plan it well enough. What I didn't realize at the time was how wide this frame is. The frame around this air conditioner is huge, which means, as you can see, our LED strips just slightly disappear down the side of that. Hey Ham. Thank you. I was just chatting through what we've been up to. Lots of bitty jobs and not a lot of kind of start to finish stuff. Lovely. Thank you. So then we've got, coming back now, most of the space is taken up because I've got our furniture board in here. The next big thing, and the reason why I'm in a bit of a rush to get all these little jobs done, is that I've decided I'm going to pay someone to do a lot of the carpentry and essentially the lockers, the storage cupboards that go up the tops. I was going to go with the Vandermoon moon boxes. I saw them first on a Bucklife's channel, and they looked really brilliant because they were lightweight, aluminium, covered in fabric, so soft so you don't bang your head, and they looked really high quality. The problem is I loaded up a basket full of the stuff, and it was £2,500, which is ludicrous sums of money for what is essentially just some canvas covered little aluminium boxes. And then you have to add the fact that because it's being shipped in from Poland, there would be 20% VAT plus import duties, and it got very, very, very expensive very quickly. And I realised the amount of money I'm spending on this van, I want to end up with a product that's going to be high quality. And I, as you've seen from my slightly wibbly wobbly ceiling, I'm not an expert. So instead of buying the moon boxes for thousands and thousands of pounds and just bolting them into the ceiling, and they wouldn't give us the best finish because they're only to set lengths, so there would be gaps in places from box to box. What I've decided is there is a local chap, van builder close to me, who specialises in a lot of carpentry work. I went and had a chat with him, and he's agreed to come and do some stuff for us. Well, I'll give you a link to his channel because he actually has a YouTube channel as well, just in case you're in the southeast and want to do something similar. But he's going to take the van, which is why I've loaded it up with the furniture board. He's taking it in 2 days' time, so I'm in a rush. And what he's going to do for us, he's going to build my shower cubicle. There's my shower tray, which is all plumbed in, all the waste is in now. And he's going to build the shower cubicle around it. He's also going to do our cupboards, so we're going to have cupboards down both sides of the van over the bed, and then he's going to do the kitchen units as well. Then I'm going to get the van back and finish it off, do the rest of the wiring, the electrics, the plumbing, and that's the job I'm in at the moment. Because some of this plumbing needs to run under our shower tray, I'm in the process of just doing those bits now. Now, another thing to highlight is this incredible shower tray. What I wanted to do was go for something stainless steel. The plastic shower trays aren't designed for vans. The van inevitably moves, shakes, twists a little bit, and eventually those plastic shower trays crack, so I wanted something solid. This is powder coated in white, so it looks brilliant. It's also got these slight little lips here that you can put your shower panels into. So your shower panel sits inside the tray, which means in theory there is absolutely no way. This feels a bit like the Titanic saying it's unsinkable. There's no way this will leak. And so I'm just finishing off doing that now, and I've finished the insulation. There's also been another change of plans. So you might have remembered me saying we were going to have windows in the back doors, the same height and same size as these side windows. Changed our minds on that. Now what we've decided to do is, because our garage is so low and there's very little space in there, I wanted to find a way to get a little bit of extra storage. To that end, I've bought some, and after talking, the Vandermoon boxes. I've actually gone for the Vandermoon rear door organisers, and then we're going to have some big thermal kind of curtains, blinds made up from Voyage Adventure vans, which I will then fit over the back there, so that we will have protection from that, and we've then got storage on the back doors to store stuff. It also meant that we don't have to put another 2 holes in the back, and because that thermal blind can be zipped and unzipped, we can still open the back doors and enjoy the view. And I think that pretty much brings us to the end of what I've been up to. One final note is, obviously I've run the wiring and tested the lights, but what I've also done is, as you can see, I've run the wiring for absolutely everything else. So we've got AC stuff coming in mostly down here, which is where the kitchen's going to be, and there is an AC socket down at the front here, and then we've got USB sockets in lots of different places. We've got one in the cab shelf, one down here, one is going to be at the end of the bed. We're then going to have USB chargers next to our beds and the kids' beds, so I'm hopeful that we've got enough charging points sorted. And then 2 more things to show you. Might have made a slight mistake here, is that I have installed the connection points for filling up the water and for plugging in at campsites. So the water one is right down here. I've sprayed it black, so it's really hidden and out of the way. When you actually lift yourself up, actually it disappears very quickly. And then down here at the back, again, similar location, just in front of this wheel, we've gone for another hidden tiny little electric hookup point here. And then the plumbing and the wiring is, everything is done externally, except for some aesthetic and cool stuff like new wheels and rear door ladder carrying stuff. The externals is pretty much finished now, so the outside of the van is done. It's just now finally getting there. I feel like we're making progress. The thing that will feel like the biggest change for me will be when we finally get our electrics in and we can actually start turning stuff on. And I feel like at that point we're going to be able to start using the van a bit more than we have been. I've come around the back because I didn't show you some of the other things I've done over the last couple of weeks. The first thing is right down here, our floor. Our floor's back in. This is the same floor that the van came with. It's this phenolic ply, which is a really good base, and it's a 9mm thick floor. But what I've done, which is a bit different to most people, is most people will batten out the floor, put PIR board in between, then they can screw down to the battens, and they've got a nice solid structural floor. Other people may just decide to stick a closed cell foam directly on the base of the van, then put a nice thick floor of 12, 15, sometimes even 18mm ply, and then they'll screw directly to the floor. I've decided to do something a bit different. Now what I've got down here is 25mm PIR board, and then the original floor of the van back on, and then I've bolted it all into place using the original tie down points. Had to get some slightly longer bolts to get it in, but what this means is you've got no thermal bridging, because except for the bolts where the handful of bolts go through, but there's minimal thermal bridging. You've got PIR the whole way across, and then this on top. Now a lot of people will say, well, PIR is not structural, use something like XPS, which is structural and used to insulate concrete floors. But PIR is strong enough to walk on, it's just not strong enough to take point loads. So you can walk across this nicely in a pair of trainers, you can't walk on it in a pair of stilettos because it'll just poke holes in it. But the way it works is, because you've got this big wide bit of ply on the top, it spreads the load really nicely, and you can jump up and down on this. You can put big point loads on the plywood and it spreads it out, and this is perfect for that. And it doesn't need to be structural, because I don't want anything fixed to the floor anyway. I want almost everything fixed to the walls of the van. So floor's the other one thing. The other thing you can see at the back, I've put my batteries in here, nicely fixed in, but they're not connected to anything, so that's not overly relevant. But I have done my Truma boiler, or at least I've mostly done my Truma boiler. You can see I've still got plumbing supplies out here because I'm still working on the plumbing. I haven't fired it up, so I can't guarantee it's working, and the hot water isn't connected, only the cold water. But we've managed to get that in, and I've got the vent for that going out the side of the van there. And then the other thing, which you can see all this plywood sitting on top of, is these IKEA Scorva beams. Another thing we've done differently, because there's 5 of us, is we've decided to go for a layout which is 2 bunk beds at the back, essentially. Hannah and I will be on the top, and the kids will be on the bottom in their own little pods. What I've done therefore is used 18mm ply, nice and thick, because there's going to be a lot of weight of 2 beds and 5 people on it, bolted into riv nuts in the side of the van, and then that is clearly strong enough to A, take 200 kilos of plywood lying on top of it, but I can also jump up and down on these beams while the plywood's on it, which I've done. So that's showing you just how strong the bed frame is. One final note for you is, so far I've been a bit of a build channel, but what I realise is I'm not an expert. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing, frankly. I'm kind of muddling my way through it, and there are really, really good channels out there to teach you how to do jobs properly. I'm not that. Hopefully you can learn something from my terrible mistakes and by watching me do it, but actually you're much better off finding a better creator than me for that. So what I want to hear from you is what you want to see from us. This build will be done in the next couple of months, probably less than that. And then I won't have any more building content to go. So it'll have to be in some way related to the travel. Now, I love food, so I was hoping to do some content around either cooking or traveling, around finding the best food spots. But we're also a family of 5, so maybe you want to see more of the family and the chaos we have on the road. But if you want to leave us a comment, let me know what you think you want to see from us over the coming months and hopefully longer. Let me know and we can feed that into our plan.